You had a big problem with Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
He's not playing today.
Good.
Gary Sanchez, not playing today.
Good.
Gio Urshela's hurt, not playing today.
Yeah, came up a little bit lame.
Your favorite New York Yankee is leading off, so he's really making changes with this lineup.
Jameson Tyon's leading off?
Your second favorite
What is
Yankee.
going on?
I'm sorry. Brett Gardner is leading off.
Good.
DJ's batting second.
Good.
Aaron Judge is batting third. This is actually something you like.
Yes, it is. I've said it from day one.
The cleanup hitter is porn stash himself, Mike Ford.
All right, okay.
Glaber's still in the lineup, but let's face it, they have no other option.
No shot, right.
Aaron Hicks in center.
Okay.
Rugi Odor back in the lineup.
So they dropped Hicks to sixth. Okay.
Yep. Odor batting seventh. Clint Frazier 8. Kyle Higashioka 9. So a few changes, but the changes that are different is the top of the order.
When he joins us in about 5 or 6 minutes, will he refer to them as a benching, a punishment?
No.
Or will he say, I'm looking at the schedule, I just want to get the guys a day off?
He needed to, because Judge is DHing, so there'll be a part of, hey, I'm giving Judge a DH day. Giancarlo needs a chance to sit.
Frazier's playing right?
Frazier's playing right. I want to get Higgy out there. None of this is a benching. I'm just saying I knew you'd be happy because you were upset with Giancarlo, but it ain't a benching. You can tell yourself it is, but it ain't.
Well, we're going to ask.
Oh, no, we'll ask, but it won't be.
Yeah, because what a lot of people say is, well, if you're going to punish somebody, why are you punishing Glaber for not running to first?
Yeah.
And as you said,
you can't right now.
You can't
the
bench.
Yankees,
I mean, I guess you could bench them all, but you can't.
You can't bench Glaber right now for two reasons. They really don't have a backup shortstop. Their backup shortstop is essentially Gio Urshela, who's hurt. That's why he's not playing today. And so their roster is just... Tyler Wade's in at the alternate side. They just don't have options. So as much as people may be ticked off at Glaber, and you should be, he should have ran on that little tapper. What are you going to do? There really isn't like that other option. Now, there may be an option at the end of the year when they go pay, $250 million for a free agent shortstop. But those are the changes, and I thought you'd like the top of the order stuff because I know you've always wanted that.
I've
DJ
wanted
is
it for a long time.
And Judge is a 3-hitter.
And Hicks got dropped down to sixth. So maybe they'll manufacture a run or two today. I mean, I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding.
Yeah, and it's funny, Hicks actually got promoted because remember yesterday he was hitting seventh, and he didn't do anything. I know he walked a couple of times, but look, nobody's hitting, even DJ.
I thought that last six at bat, I'm going to give him credit, was a good at bat because they had him at 1-2 in the count.
A walk, yeah.
And he did draw a walk, so I'm not going to kill Hicks. I know it's one at bat that led to nothing, but it put a guy on base, another guy on base. Now you got the tying run up. So Hicks did at least. Here's what pissed me off, and I think I even put this out last night. You've got a pitcher that is struggling to find the strike zone.
Gary Sanchez at bat, right?
Gary Sanchez comes up after a walk. And I'm not exaggerating this. What was Smith or Davis? Who's pitching for Atlanta? Whoever it was, relief pitcher. I think it was Smith, right? You correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't matter. The guy can't find the strike zone. Gary Sanchez swung at 5 pitches. He fouled a couple off.
Yep.
He swung at 5 pitches that were out of the strike zone off a walk when you need people on base.
Base runners, yeah.
And I mean, that's just, what are we doing?
No, is it terrible at bat? Those are the things that make it even worse, besides the result, which is, hey, they scored 1 run on 5 hits. And here's the other thing. One of the big criticisms of the Yankee offense, they don't hit enough home runs. You realize the Yankees have hit the fewest home runs in the American League? They're not even doing that.
Yeah.
They're not getting extra base hits. They're not doing anything right now.
Well, that's the game they won. They scored on a walk and a wild pitch.
Yeah, and the Gio home run.
Yeah, the Gio home run tied it 1-1.
Right.
Another, solo home run for the Yanks.
Yep. Well, right now they need more of those, too, because they've got the fewest in the league.
They need something. Here's Mitch in Rockland County on the Fan. Mitchell, how are you?
Good. You guys are so much fun, and I love your impression of Susan. It's a lot of fun. You gotta keep doing that.
Okay, sure.
I got 2 points I want to make. One is I know I'm beating a dead horse, but my father passed on his love for the Yankees to me, and I passed it on to my sons. I have a 26-year-old who lives in Brooklyn, and he likes to text me that the Yankees won tonight, and I tell him, I say they're unwatchable. I mean, they never. Should they ever, change their approach to their plate or their approach to the plate based on the count or anything? They're always swinging the same way. And, like you're saying, they don't score. Even when they win, they have 5 hits and they score 2 runs.
Yeah, but it's like we said, winning does take care of a lot of these problems and it hides a lot of the warts. But there's nothing worse for the fan base who cares so much about the team that they love to watch a group of professionals appear to be going through the motions without any care. And we discussed this the other day. It was my big problem with the Yankees. Not just losing, but appearing to be apathetic about it, not caring. Now, I know if I ask Aaron Boone the questions and say, of course they care, and of course they're upset and this and that. But you don't see that. And, whether it's me complaining about Stanton wearing the sweatshirt and giving up, or nobody getting on Glaber's ass about not running to first base, or whatever the situation is, there's no fire. And by the way, you can play a lot of low-scoring, games and have a boatload of fire. So it's not just about the fact that they're not scoring a lot of runs. It's that there's no personality at all to this team.
Yeah, but even when they score runs, they don't have a personality. It just looks worse when you're not hitting.
It appears as if they just don't give a damn. And the thing that I'm going to go back to, and I'm sure I'm going to bring it up in August when they play the Braves again, and who knows where we'll be at that point. Hopefully they're playing games that matter. Fingers crossed, right? They don't have a lost summer for the New York Yankees. And that is this. When the Atlanta Braves dance on your logo, and it wasn't, I want to be clear, it was not on the logos in center field after the final out. It's akin to a football team dancing on your logo at midfield on the 50-yard line. When they do that with no fear of retribution. And you could say, the game was over. What were the Yankees supposed to do? React to it. You don't have to walk into the dugout and let them embarrass you by dancing
and you know
on
what
your
our
grave.
Reaction to their reaction would be? Great. Go get some freaking hits. That'd be my reaction. That'd be most Yankee fans' reaction.
It would be nice to have seen something. That's all.
Well, you know
but
what you
but
want
here's
to
the
see?
problem with the Yankees. They were more worried about being cold. Ooh, it's a little chilly out. Let me put on my sweatshirt. I'm probably not going to get up again. Quit. Absolutely quit. And I'm going to bring it up to Aaron when he joins in a couple minutes. And I hope that's why Stanton sat down. I hope Aaron Boone looked to his right and goes, why is Stanton in a sweatshirt
There's no
right now?
shot that's the reason, and you know it.
I'm going to find out.
No, but you know that. No, you should ask the question, but you know that's not the reason.
I'm going to find out anyway.
It's because Giancarlo Stanton breaks down every single season, and they got to give him a day. They don't have an off day. They just played a 2-game series against Atlanta. We got a 4-game series against Cleveland. We want to give Judgy a DH day. You know the reason. Listen, I know what you want, and I understand it, but that's not what you're going to get.
You would think they'd go the other way. I got to put my best potential bats in the lineup because we're not scoring any runs. You'd almost think they'd go overboard the other way and not give these guys a day off. So maybe the guy's not playing because he's batting 158
nothing's worse.
And he strikes out 21 times.
Well, that's the point. Nothing's worse. So giving guys off days when nobody's hitting doesn't feel as bad when a guy's putting up a big year because nobody's hitting. So you figure, hey, maybe Brett Gardner will give me a little spark today.
I love Brett Gardner leading off. I do.
I want more Mike Tauchman, honestly. He played one game, Craig.
He's batting 100. But I hear you. I hear you.
Come on, don't start with me on that.
I hear you.
How many at-bats has he had?
Listen.
And nobody's hit, by the way.
I got no problem with Talkie Talk. You know that.
You know what I like about Tauchman? He's different. He can get on base and steal a base.
Yeah.
He can do things that a lot of the other guys on this team don't do or can do.
Boy, they better get Luke Voigt back soon just for something, right?
Well, and he's a fiery guy.
I saw Luke Voigt did a video the other day. I don't know when he filmed it, so I want to be fair about it. It could have been, who knows. Major League Baseball just did a promotion with a $450 crock pot company. And it's Luke Voigt and I guess his wife are the ones that are sampling it and showing it off to the consumer.
Oh,
but joining us right now is the man we've been talking about for the last couple hours on his team. It's Aaron Boone, and the Aaron Boone Report's brought to you by Jersey Mike's, the official sub-sandwich shop of the New York Yankees, by Winters Brothers Waste Systems. Conveniently rent a dumpster online at wintersbros.com. Long Island's #1 choice for waste removal. Maybe the Yankees will be in there. wintersbros.com. And by Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited talk, text, and data. You could save up to 40%. Go to spectrummobile.com today. Aaron Boone, Craig, and Evan, good afternoon. How are you, buddy?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, I figured well, we're not doing good either. I'll say that. Couple things that I was really ticked off about last night, beyond just the loss. And I want to have an open, honest conversation with you about it. Number one, end of the game, Atlanta Braves, the final out of the game. And the Braves are posing and basically showing up the entire franchise out in short center field. Did you see it? And if you did, what is your reaction to, them, frankly, rubbing the Yankees' noses in another loss?
I did not see that. So I actually, that's news to me. I don't know what exactly you're talking about.
They were posing like an NFL team might pose after a touchdown, knowing that there's no retribution. I don't play them again until August. So here's the next thing that bothered me, non-baseball. Mm-hmm. Stanton, who's struggling big time like a lot of your lineup, is in the dugout after his last at-bat, and he throws the sweatshirt on like he's given up. Now, when you look to your right or left and you see a veteran leader like Giancarlo Stanton who throws the sweatshirt on over the jersey because, in his opinion, it's over, how do you react to that?
I don't have any issue with our guys and their care and their focus and where they're at. I would chalk that more up to him as a DH. You maybe just catching it at that time on a freezing cold night, trying to stay warmer in between at bats. So I think I wouldn't read into that.
I'm reading into it because and I know you're going to say they do care, so I can't say they don't. But one of the biggest problems right now is not just that you're not playing well and not scoring. There's the image of apathy, and it's killing the fan base to watch guys either not run a ball out to first like Glaber last night, to strike out, ground out, whatever it is, bases loaded, this and that, and just walk back to the dugout with no fire, no energy, no passion. And that's what's killing the fan base more than anything. It appears like they just don't give a damn.
Yeah, well, I would wholeheartedly say that is absolutely not true. And because a guy doesn't throw a temper tantrum every time they make an out or whatever, our guys are hurting over this start, are grinding big time, are pissed off. But also, I get back to hitting, especially. It's a game of you're going to take your lumps even when it's going well, and you've got to manage your emotions. And it's one of the things we're talking about a lot right now is when you're going through a tough stretch, if you're not in command of your emotions, and everyone's different. I don't want guys to not be themselves. So some guys get upset and you see it. Some guys, hold it in, whatever. But right now, we've got to be ourselves and walking between the lines, having done all your prep work, having gotten ready for your opponent, have a game plan going in, and then when the bell rings at 6:35 or 6:10 tonight, there's got to be a level of now go out and just play and have fun playing this game, because that's when they're going to ultimately get at their best. Because I think as a group, and it's because it's early and it's all we have to go on, and even with guys with really strong track records, I do think there's, some guys that you can want it a little bit too much, and that gets you out of your strengths, which our strength is absolutely, controlling the zone and working pitchers down. And we haven't done that like we're going to yet.
Because everybody's struggling. Do you notice that guys are pressing, that guys are trying to be the one to get this offense going? And is that kind of building towards this collective slump that we've seen over the first 17 games?
I think it's been a little bit in and out. Like, I feel like there's days for certain guys where I see them start to look more and more like themselves and start to string together some at-bats. But when you're still not getting those results, and then, the rest of the guys are struggling too, you gotta get through that. I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges of being, especially a hitter in this game and in the game. And, just relating it to when I was a player and going through struggles where I had a couple seasons where I got off to really slow starts for an extended period. And, there's a point you got to get to a point of where you say, screw it. I'm going to come in and absolutely prepare and work my tail off. But when game time rolls around, then it's go out and let the chips fall where they may. And to truly get to that place, that place and that mental state is liberating. But you got to get there and not just say you're there. And once we do that, we're going to bang. There's no doubt in my mind.
As a guy who's played, as you said, and you're the son of a manager and you have a lot of experience, does getting pissed off as the manager work? Like, if you And I wasn't there last Friday when you were angry with the team or whatever you were. If you do something tonight, does that stuff work? Has it worked in your past?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's not even about, I don't do things to, I don't react or, have conversations or meetings with my club for anything other than trying to be authentic and trying to express my thoughts. And, you have conversations and meetings throughout the year, sometimes as a group, sometimes individually in an office, where, you're just trying to tap into every single player and ultimately get the most out of each player. And I also feel like every player is a little bit different and they need, tapping into them requires different strokes for each and every individual. And one of my jobs, our jobs as coaches is to try and tap into those guys and try and get them in a position to get the most out of them.
So what did you tap into with Gleyber Torres when he doesn't run that ball out in the seventh inning? How'd you handle it?
That's a conversation with me and him in my office. And, simple as that. I mean,
we're having a lot of those conversations though lately. This is a veteran team and guys that have been through it, and you won a lot of games in the regular season. You've been to the postseason every year. You've been the manager. You think that you almost think like, hey, listen, when you recognize things aren't going well, when you're not getting the big hit and guys are struggling, that you're going to refocus on the fundamentals, do the little things right. And that seems to be lacking too. And again, I don't want to pick on Gleyber. He's having a tough start to his season, but more than any year in his short career. But it's like we had that conversation with Sanchez. Now we're having it with Gleyber. And to me, it shouldn't always be Aaron Boone that's got to say something. Like, you have guys that have been around. Brett Gardner, whomever it is. Do guys hold each other accountable for that kind of crap?
Yeah, I think they do, and I don't know if it's a refocus on fundamentals. I mean, that is a focus for us. When we go to spring training, and from the start of spring training, it's working on whether it's the intensity in our defensive work every single day. Whether it's the pitchers and their fielding stuff, base running. These things never stop. They just get accented when, a team like us that's obviously, built around our offense, right. All of a sudden when that's not there, we're not a speed team and we're not a manufacture runs kind of team, but I wouldn't say it's a refocus. We absolutely put a premium on being the best we can possibly be, defensively and whether it's in our leads and our breaks and when we're able to take extra bases and things like that, that's always a constant focus, even when we're rolling.
Was there any part of you that thought in the first game against the Braves, a game you have the lead in, bases loaded, one out, okay, here we go. This is going to be the moment where we kind of break out of it and start moving forward. And, so you get the 2 runs on the wild pitch and the walk, but didn't get the clutch hit. You won the game, which is at the end of the day all that matters. Were you kind of feeling in the moment, this is where we turn it, or no?
I've had a number of those moments so far, frankly. Like you're waiting for that big inning or when we do get them out there. And last night we had an opportunity later part of the game where we loaded the bases
with DJ, right?
Really our only really good, strong scoring opportunity. And DJ hit a ball hard, but right at third baseman to get out of it. But there's been a handful of those so far. I would say to start the season where, man, is this time we kind of break through and start to get over the hump?
It feels like
we haven't been able to do it yet.
It feels like one hit could do that. That was the one disappointing thing out of Tuesday night because, as Craig said, a win's a win. So at the end of the day, you're thrilled you got a victory. But that one hit, it feels like that relaxes everybody and wakes everybody up. And then all of a sudden, as you say to your quote, you guys start banging because then everybody relaxes.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's absolutely something to that. But I think we got to start having those smaller successes too. I go back to, I think in 19, we got off to a slow start in 19, and we went to Houston and actually got swept in Houston in whatever point in April during the season. And the back half of the second game of that series and the last game of that series, we actually started to play really well. We played good baseball. We had good at-bats, and we happened to lose the game. And I remember thinking, leaving Houston, going, okay, here we come a little bit. And sure enough, we got it rolling. I'm still waiting for that moment to where we start to really put it together. Last year when we went into that, we had that 2-week struggle and we got beat up in Buffalo. We had a game that we lost in Buffalo where we actually played really well. We swung the bats well. We didn't score a lot, but we had really good at bats, hit the ball hard. It kind of spearheaded us into, I think we ended up winning 8 or 9 or 10 in a row or something. So we got to build on some small successes that we have, quality at bats that we can have, well pitched games that we are frankly getting. Like our bullpen's been really good. I feel like our starting pitching is getting to where it needs to be, and and then build on the at bat quality and hopefully start to roll. I know it's coming.
Well, I want to go back to Friday against Tampa Bay. So Mike King has now pitched 9 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Mm-hmm. Speaking of how well the bullpen has pitched, why not start him? He's a starting pitcher. What's the thinking behind, let's go Nick Nelson for the first, and he gave up the 2 runs, and then King was great. I know he walked a few guys, but got out of it. He was great. The guy's pitched 9 innings, hasn't given up a run. Why not start Mike King on Friday night?
Well, he's very much in that mix to start, and he might start a game here for us coming up at some point, or could come out of the pen. Michael has come a long way, and even though he struggled the other night a little bit, was terrific in his first game outing of the year, and then made a lot of big pitches to get out of a few innings where, it was a little bit of a struggle for him, but I felt like that was real progress for him. Whereas, last year he would have those outings where, he would come out and struggle to find the zone at all. And so we knew we had bulk with Michael King going into that game. And we just felt like because he had settled in as a reliever, we felt like coming in behind, we felt better about him being able to give us real length. Whereas if it at all was a struggle early, we didn't have a bulk guy behind him. So that was the thinking. Look, I know it's less traditional, but and any time we do it and it doesn't work, it obviously gets scrutinized. But the reality is, it has worked a lot for us as well as a lot of other teams around the league.
The other guy I wonder about, because I think back to last year, the biggest start of the regular season was thrown by Davy Garcia. I don't know if you agree with that as the manager. I certainly feel that way as a baseball fan. Where is he? Like, I know he's at the alternate site, so I'm not watching him pitch down there. Maybe there's something you guys don't love from what you're seeing. But why not Davy Garcia tonight? Why hasn't Davy Garcia made a start at the major league level yet?
Davy's with us on this trip as part of our taxi squad, and there is a chance that he might be, because we're obviously in the midst of now 13 in a row, so we're going to insert a 6th starter, and Davy is a candidate to potentially make that in the coming days.
Talking to Aaron Boone.
Would that be Sunday? I'm sorry, Craig. Would that be Sunday? Obviously, Cole Bieber on Saturday is tremendous. Is that Sunday a day you're eyeing?
It could be Sunday. It could be Sunday. It could be Monday as well. It kind of depends, where we are roster-wise in the next day or two.
Evan claims I'm crazy, but is Stanton benched because of his performance for today's game?
No, it's more, I was kind of looking at this day coming up, obviously the late travel, knowing like with all our guys, they're going to get a day at some point in this stretch of, 13 in a row, how the pitching lines up for Cleveland, with Gio being down today, just made the most sense, coming off a long trip to do it today with G.
And again, I don't want to nitpick at bats, but I did find it interesting last night. I thought Aaron Hicks had a great at bat against Smith in the 9th because he's in a 1-2 hole. He works the walk out of it. And then Sanchez gets up and swings at 5 balls out of the strike zone, winds up striking out. And again, it's one at bat. I don't want to nitpick one at bat. But to me, that's the problem. Like, you're down 2 runs at the time, but it's before Hicks scores. You're down 4 runs. You got to get guys on base. Smith walks Hicks, throws a ball to start off the at-bat to Sanchez, and then he just starts swinging. And I'm saying to myself, is he aware of the situation? Like, what are we doing? And I wondered what your thought was on that at-bat.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great at-bat, obviously. And unfortunately, and especially, you're going up against a closer in that situation. That's also, what they're paid to get done, and what they're able to do is usually get you to leave your zone. But I mean, look, collectively, we've got to just have better at bats if we're going to start playing winning baseball and start producing like we're capable of offensively.
So what do you guys need? I mean, do you need like a team night out? Everyone gets drunk together? Do you need a fight? Do you need a beanball incident? Like, there is going to come a point where you're going to get tired of saying it. We're going to get tired of asking about it. The fans are going to get tired of watching it. And there's nothing worse in New York than being irrelevant. You guys know that. Like, you've been around a long time. Your family's been in baseball a long time. When you guys sit around a fireplace and talk old baseball, this kind of crap must come up. Other than the obvious, cross your fingers and hope that, they hit the ball today. What do you think you guys need to spark something? Just something to show us a little energy or something.
Yeah, I think it's building on small successes. And, it's going to happen, and it's not wishful thinking when you have, the quality of players that we have with the track record of success. Like, it's going to happen. And whether we're looking back, 2-3 weeks from now, a month from now, we'll probably point to something that may or may not be the reason or may not be relevant in us turning it around, other than we're really good players. They can really hit, and eventually that'll come out.
The thing that most callers and Yankee fans try to do to spark the team is to change the lineup. And usually it doesn't happen. You did it today. I think this is the first time DJ LeMahieu is not leading off since, 2019. I could be wrong. I mean, he's been your leadoff guy forever. He's batting second today. Is that a part of trying to spark the team? Tell us your thoughts on changing the lineup the way you did tonight.
Yeah, a little bit, but also with Gio being down today and obviously having Stanton out of there, Savali wanting to get at least a few lefties in there against Savali, who's a little bit, can be tougher on righties, even though he's a really good pitcher anyway. Just again with us. And with me making our lineup a lot of times, especially when we don't typically have a lot of left-handed hitters in there, a lot of it comes down to some spacing or the personnel you're facing, what's the other team's bullpen like. You're trying not to give them automatic, easy lanes for some of their guys that are specialists. But also mixing things up a little bit and, trying to get a little spark going with some of our guys and hopefully this little change up today can be the light.
This is going to be
the igniter.
The ignite. This is going to be a weird question, Aaron, but I'm curious. I literally, and Craig makes fun of me for this, I can't sleep certain nights when my team lose. Like, I really can't. Like, the Mets play crappy, the Nets play, I just can't sleep. Have you been sleeping well? Like, how do you take it as the guy who manages this team? You're not playing anymore, so there's only so much you can do. So there's got to be like this a little bit of helplessness. Like, I put the lineup together. I can yell a couple of times. Like, are you sleeping well? How are your nights after your team, basically gets 5 hits and scores 1 run?
Right. It varies. There's nights when I do a little better than others, but it varies.
Who's your go-to guy? Like, when you go back to the hotel, like, other than your family, your kids, and that stuff to keep you grounded. Do you have a go-to person, an older person in baseball that you throw things off just to BS, just to kind of clear your head?
Other than family, I talked to Jimmy Leland a little bit, but mostly, talk with, spend time with my coaching staff and staff members and, kind of grind through this whole thing with the rest of the troops.
Have you heard Jim Leland sing?
He has not been singing to me, but
okay. I'm being dead serious about this. So when I lived in Denver, Jimmy Leland was the manager out there. Okay,
Yeah.
And we're at the Chop House Steakhouse right by, Coors Field. And I'm sitting at the bar, single guy minding my own business. And Jimmy Leland comes in.
He was there for like 1 year, too, in Colorado.
Yeah, and he sits down, and we start BSing with each other. And neither one of us are feeling any pain.
Right.
And, the restaurant's slowly shutting down. And he starts singing. He's serenading me.
Really?
And
Was it good?
Dude, the guy's got the voice of an angel when he sings.
Well, maybe I'll call him tonight and see if he can sing me to sleep.
Listen,
maybe that'll help me get a good night's sleep.
I'm going to ask you a solid here. At some point before we talk next week, if you do talk to Jimmy, you ask him about singing in Denver, Colorado. Now, he won't remember me being a part of it. So then
He tries to forget being in Denver, Colorado for the year he was there.
Then where there's a charity event,
right.
A very small, 20-person, highfalutin, big cash dinner. And they go, we have a huge surprise coming to entertain you. They bring Jim Leland in with a microphone and a karaoke machine. And I'm not BSing you. He sang old, standards like Sinatra, Motown for 45 minutes. It was unbelievable.
I had no idea. No idea.
You got to ask him about it, all right?
I will.
And then final thing before we let you go.
Yeah.
Last night I played Evan in MLB The Show.
Oh,
I was the Yankees because I'm a fan of the Yankees. He was the Mets. You know the deal. I gave my fandom to you this year.
Uh-huh.
I got Garrett Cole on the mound. Now, to be fair, Jay Bruce was still in my lineup.
He had 2 home runs, Aaron.
Here's the deal.
He did?
Yes.
He had 2 bombs,
Bombs.
So I'm throwing a no-hitter in the 7th inning. Evan lays down the bunt, down 5 runs, being no hit. Baseball world, he gets beamed, does he not?
I don't think so.
Thank you,
Down
Aaron. I need base runners. I'm trying to win the game. Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what else, Aaron? This moron had the shift on. So what am I supposed to do?
Well, Nimmo is up.
That's right. Especially if you're going to shift them. All bets are off.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
You see? Apologize.
Tell Stan to bunt next time they got the shift on him. Well, listen. I know this ain't fun, but it's a lot of fun when you're winning. So it goes both ways, and hopefully they figure this out. It's just I would leave you with one thing, and I don't know how else to impress it upon you. Sometimes I think guys that do what you do and players lose sight of this. Not saying you did, but I think players lose sight of it. Obviously, fans want you to win every game, but the fans don't like it when they feel like they're being taken advantage of, and when it appears that players are apathetic and don't care. And that's the image the Yankees have right now, and that really bothers people. So I don't know.
I would say in the annals of go back in time, when offenses struggle, it can have a little bit of lifelessness and lacking energy to it. It's age-old, goes to every team every year, and that's the conversation. It just seems like there's a lack of energy. Usually it's around hitting, but I promise you it's not from a lack of care or a lack of hunger from the guys in that room that desperately want to be the best.
All right, do me a favor. At some point, check out the highlights of the last out last night, just to keep it in the back of your mind for August when you play the Braves again. It's something you got to remember for a few months, okay?
All right, appreciate you guys. Take care.
Aaron Boone Report brought to you by Jersey Mike's, the official sub sandwich shop of the New York Yankees. Well, there you go. So you know the lineup. You know how the manager feels about it, and it is interesting. I'll say before we take the break, I know we got to take. I thought it was very good that he pointed out last year, the last couple of years, when things weren't going well, like there was a game or a couple games where he felt that, okay, where it's going to happen. Right. And he acknowledged he has not felt that way yet.
No, because it hasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, even the win the other night didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Like we came in and we said, hey, a win's a win. But you felt empty because they couldn't break through, and they still aren't playing like that good, clean game. And maybe, look, here's the thing that's frustrating, but it's true. And the Yankee fans hate hearing it. They are going to break out of it.
Well, we say
They're too good for this.
You know what?
But Craig,
they're
say too
that.
good for this.
That's a cop-out answer, not from you, but from them. I don't like it.
Listen, I agree.
How many
that
games?
no one
17 games, Ev.
Craig, I agree. No one wants to hear it from Aaron Boone. I'm telling you, and I know you feel the same way. They're going to break out of it.
I don't know that they are.
Really?
I
think
want them
they're going
to
to have a bottom 5 offense in the American League?
I don't want them to.
Do you really think that, though?
I think it's possible.
I don't think so. and I will save this moment so that when you're saying, "Ha, Yankee fans, you were all worried," I'm going to shove it down your face.
Listen, I was the guy saying that after a week.
You did?
Because after a week, it's crazy to be like, oh, they suck. They've now played 17 games, right? 6-11, I think?
Yeah.
We said the number was 40, arbitrary quarter of the season. All right? So I'm not going to be a total douche until they get to 40, but you asked me a question. My honest answer today, it's easy to think they're going to break out of it because we know the bag of the baseball card crap. I'm not 100% sure they are.
Let me just remind you of something real quick that
let's
no
see.
one has to care about,
Dude,
but it's the
Waka
reality.
Waka
Hold
Waka
on a
shut
second.
them down.
Hold on a second. The Oakland Athletics started 1-7. They've won 11 in a row.
Great.
In this sport, things can change like this.
Yep, I know.
And if I knew how to snap my fingers, what I would do is, thank you, Craig, I'd go like, snap.
You can't snap your fingers?
I can't do it.
Take your thumb and your middle finger.
I can't do it.
Push
Don't
them
even try.
together.
I can't do it.
Just push them together for me, please.
Okay.
As hard as you can. And then I want you to take your middle finger and move it down to the table.
Yeah, I can't
No,
do it.
no. Down to the
I
table.
can't do it, dude.
Down to the table.
By the way, Booney said the boat was fine.
He also said Stanton didn't get benched.
He didn't get benched.
Okay.
He did, dude, you may want him to get benched, and I'm sure most people listening want him to get benched, and I get it. I'd want him benched, too. He's hitting 150.
Here's the deal.
He wasn't benched, bro.
We'll get your reaction to that, and we got some good stuff with the New York Knicks coming up and much more.
What are they doing?
Not really sure day to day, Susan, but we're trying our best. And memo to you and John, the game does start early tonight, so let's make sure everyone's in front of a microphone and ready to go.
It's Carton and Roberts on The Fan, WFAN, WFAN-FM, and WFAN.com.
Craig, close your ears for 3 seconds.
Close my ears.
Islanders Capitals, huge game tonight at Nassau Coliseum. Battle for first place. All right, hey, Craig, what's up? How you
Carton
feeling?
and Roberts on The Fan. Here's Milton in Brooklyn. Milton, what do you got today, Hammer?
Hey, what's going on? Evan, you are such a little girl. Bunting, 5-0.
I'm sorry, the manager of the New York Yankees said that's
he
fine.
Has to say that. He has to say that. He's not going to say that. You know, he does. Well, he's going to admit to going to hit a player after doing that. He has to say that.
Well, he wouldn't have said hit a player. He'd say, yeah, that's really a little unethical, Evan. What are you doing? He admits Craig made a mistake.
MLB, let me tell you something. I play so much MLB The Show, and whenever this situation happens online, nobody who's not under 12 years old does this. You know the person is throwing a no-hitter, a perfect game, and you try to earn it like a man.
Oh,
and then to come on the radio and cry, you said you were going to throw strikes.
I'm not crying. I'm calling him out for what he claimed to say. I'm not crying about it at all. The only person crying, Milton, is you. Where you bunted? Where? Stop it.
Jason's in Brooklyn on The Fan. Jason, good afternoon. How are you, buddy?
How are you guys? I love the new show. Love it.
Thank you.
Love it. I never thought I'd be calling up a sports talk radio show and discussing LeBron other than what he does on the court. But
Sure.
Unfortunately, we've reached a point where we're in sports. I can't turn on the game. I can't turn on. I want to watch when I come home after a day of work. I want to turn on the game and watch the game. And I can't do it anymore. And it's so unfortunate. It's a sad reality, the new world we live in, that we can't go to a sporting event. We can't turn on any sporting event and not be infused by nonstop politics and pandering and all this. They're killing it for us fans.
All right, let's get into part of this, right? Because I did say tease that we would talk about the LeBron situation, and I want to be very clear about. I want to be very clear about what aspect of it I want to talk about with Evan and with you. All right, and let's keep it really focused and specific to the last 24 hours because that's what's really brought this back to the forefront. So LeBron James puts out a tweet, and in that tweet is a photograph of a police officer. And I believe his name was mentioned in it as well. And he writes, next. And there's an hourglass GIF. And then it's hashtag accountability. Now, that was interpreted one of two ways. Some people interpreted it as if he was inciting potential violence or retribution against this particular police officer who shot an African-American teenager while she was attempting to stab an unarmed woman. Other people viewed it in the manner in which, to give him the benefit of the doubt, when he wrote hashtag accountability, that, hey, we got to have accountability for things that happen like this. Now, LeBron James took the tweet down. And subsequent to that, he made an attempt to acknowledge that you shouldn't let emotions get the best of you before you know the facts of a situation. I'm not going to speak, nor is Evan, I don't believe, towards the specific actions of this officer in this particular case. If you've seen the video, it speaks for itself. You can come up to any conclusion you want to that satisfies your feelings and emotion towards what took place, which is, again, the sad loss of life. No doubt about it. But when LeBron James puts out a tweet that says next and intimates something that could be misconstrued, confused, taken out of context, or, I don't know, taken the exact way a lot of people thought he meant it, it is a story and it is a problem. And you are allowed to react to that. And you're allowed to discuss it openly, no matter who you are. You know, I think if you do a sports talk shows in this country and you did not acknowledge the biggest sports story in this country, which is something that happened off the court or field of play, the most recognizable athlete, arguably in the world, but certainly in this country, putting out what many people thought was a aggressive text, or tweet rather, that may have put someone's life in danger. And that's how a lot of people reviewed it. LeBron James has an amazing platform because of his popularity and his connection to the youth in this country. And there's nothing wrong with being upset about a lot of things happening in this country. But when you use that platform to potentially incite a lot of people against a person, in this case an officer, based on other things that have happened, you're really walking a very fine line and a very dangerous line. And I think it's something that you got to be willing to talk about.
Great power comes great responsibility.
Well, that's the Spider-Man rule. That's right.
And it's spot on because there are millions of people on Twitter, and random people could put something out there, and it may not be a big deal. It goes into the ethos. LeBron James, to your point, is very, very powerful, and people follow him. And he has come out on not just social issues. He's come out and given his opinion on a lot of things. He's also done a lot of good. He's done a lot of charity work. He's done a lot of great stuff. But you've got to be very careful, A, to not have something misconstrued. Because it's funny. I read the tweet before it was deleted. I didn't take it as inciting a threat.
And the actual thing was,
you're next, hashtag accountability.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. With a picture of the police officer.
And I apologize. I just said next. It's your next.
You're next. The hashtag accountability. Yeah. But here's the thing. I didn't take it as a threat, but it doesn't matter. You've got to be so damn careful when you put anything out there to see how are other people going to interpret it. So when he deleted it, I think he made a really good decision. The follow-up to it was like he sort of apologized for saying, look, I don't know all the facts about what happened in this case, but he also went on, and I don't know if he really did any good from what he could have said after deleting the tweet initially. But that's the key. With great power comes great responsibility, and you got to be damn careful with everything you say, especially when you're somebody who every word is followed and looked at.
Yep.
So I think he made a big mistake last night putting that out there.
Yeah, I think he made a big mistake too. But I also want to say this. I'm diametrically opposed to the concept of shut up and dribble. I am. I hate that concept because you're a ball player. You're not allowed to have thoughts and feelings and use your platform to speak out against, social injustice and other things going on in your community, in your country. You have every right to say anything you want to say. But as Evan just said, there are levels of responsibility, and you do have to sometimes be a little bit more guarded and careful about some of the words you use because they can be misinterpreted. And the result in this case of a misinterpretation could cost somebody their life.
Sure.
And that's why people are reacting to it in this manner. It's not that, for me, I can only speak for me. LeBron James has done more good in the community.
I completely agree.
Specifically, the African-American inner-city community of his hometown, where he is singularly responsible for giving kids a chance to go to college.
Yeah, guys building schools.
Yeah. So, I want to be very clear. He's done far more good than one bad tweet could ever undo. But he also, because of who he is and the platform he has and the followers he has and the symbol that he is also has to be careful. Because when you speak on things like this and you don't use your words a little bit more wisely or with a little less emotion involved, or even worse, you don't know what you're talking about. Or you may have heard of a story.
Which he sort of acknowledged in the follow-up tweet. See, you said something, and I completely agree with you about. Not everything is one way or the other. Like, you can get on LeBron James for this tweet. You can get on LeBron James's hypocrisy with China. That's fair game. But we also have to be fair, and you hit it right on the head. He's done a hell of a lot more good than bad.
Yeah, and
a
listen,
lot more.
If you want to get on LeBron
Let's
James,
acknowledge that. Let's be fair when you're having a discussion about the good or bad of LeBron James.
Listen, like anyone else, you could criticize a lot of things about LeBron.
Of course.
I don't like LeBron at all because I'm a Knicks fan, and from a basketball standpoint,
right.
I don't know the guy personally, and if you want to pick on LeBron for where sneakers get made and supporting a communist country, feel free. That's fair game. And if you want to react to LeBron James's tweet, feel free. It's fair game. It's a public figure who put a public statement out there that was not based on any fact whatsoever, and he didn't know what he was talking about. And it's a problem when you do that. And he took it down, and then came up with some, kind of mumbo jumbo about what his intent was. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And we should be allowed to react to it. Black, white, brown, doesn't matter who you are. Right? At the end of the day, this would be the most cliched thing I ever say. Like, we're people, right? And then beyond that, we're Americans. Maybe that falls on deaf ears these days. So you shouldn't be afraid to have this conversation, and most people are, and that baffles my mind. Why can't Evan and I have this conversation, right? You got to be able to have this conversation, or else you're never going to fix anything. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. You got to be able to have the conversation. So, I thought LeBron James's tweet was uninformed, was potentially dangerous, and should have been taken down.
And it was.
And I'm glad
he took it down.
Yeah.
I don't know if the follow-up was perfect, but he definitely made the right decision to take the tweet down. And look.
And he did, but he kind of acknowledged that he didn't know any of the facts, and he just reacted.
He kind of acknowledged, hey, I'm not sure I know everything about this story. But what LeBron James does or any other athlete does in speaking out on social issues, let's admit this, that's not easy. It's a lot easier to not say anything.
Michael Jordan never said a word.
Michael Jordan was, quote-unquote, criticized for it. But was he? You don't really get criticism when you kind of stay away. So I think an athlete, a movie star, a talk show host, I'm pointing at you, you can have your opinions on whatever the heck you want. And I do disagree overall with the thesis of our last caller. I watched the Yankee game last night. I watched the Knicks game last night. I watched the Net game last night. I watched the Mets game last night. I even watched a little of the Sixers game last night. There wasn't any politics. What the hell politics did I see? The only politics I saw is that if you're making $30 million a year, you have to stay in a lineup, Craig. That was the only politics I saw in the 5 games I was watching.
So the day will pass, and we'll move on to something else. And LeBron James made a mistake. Yeah, and it's a big mistake. It's not something you can't recover from. And thankfully, knock on wood, nobody acted on it if that's what they thought he was trying to get somebody to do. And you can form your own opinion about what took place, which is why I don't want to talk about that aspect of it. I saw the video. I've seen it twice. I formed my own opinion on it. He was not informed when he put out what he put out, and that's the dangerous part. Now, he also has, a right to feel the way he feels about what is going on here. Because there's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of it's not good. Not all of it. Some of it's great, actually. Some of it's not good. So we should be able to have the open conversation about all of it, and leave it at that. So for those of you that are upset about it, you have every right to be upset about it. If you think he was inciting potential violence against the men and women that more than 90% try to serve and protect and make the world a better place for us, great. And if you weren't bothered by it, great. You got to figure out on your own how to react to it. Like, don't follow the mob, good or bad. Come up with your own opinion. Go watch the video and come up with your own opinion of what took place in this as an independent event. And that's all. And LeBron James is allowed to also, make this mistake and take it down. I wish that he had acknowledged that he didn't know what he was talking about a little bit better, but he didn't.
I'm glad, though, that you acknowledge something that I don't hear very often, because I always hear LeBron James defined in one of two ways. And I'm not talking about basketball. I'm talking off the court. One of two ways. Amazing and great and perfect, or horrible, he's the devil. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's a nuanced thing. Like LeBron James, and you said this earlier, and it's so true, has done a hell of a lot more good than bad. He made a mistake yesterday. He's made mistakes, but he has done a lot more good than bad. So when he's talked about, and I heard a lot of this over the last 12 hours, he's talked about in one extreme or the other. And we have to realize that's not how it works. It's not the truth.
Coming to you live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Kevin's in Woodbridge on the Fan. Kevin, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Craig, Evan, great show. I'm a little fired up. And, Craig, I give you respect. Months ago, you had the Stones, and the only one that talked about Drew Brees, who got ostracized for his opinions. So it's a double standard. And when you say, yes, I believe athletes should have a right to speak up. But LeBron James, other than, yes, which was terrible what he said, but that's separate. But the bigger issue to me is the NBA people forget that China, the human rights violations, the rape, the pillage, they benefit monetarily to such a degree. And then the GM kind of gets scolded by LeBron, and the media just goes, just let it go away.
Yep.
It happens every day. It's a disgrace. And I wish, and I applaud Jason Whitlock, who had some guts, who wrote a nice piece today. Like, LeBron's a great player, and I'm not knocking any of these people, but let's call it what it is. We're in a lot of things, and I know it's political too, but we can't just overlook the Chinese aspect of it, that we're taking money and the human rights violations in Hong Kong.
Yep.
It's horrible.
Yep. You're right. You're right. That's why I said there's fair criticism. If you think if the conditions towards humanity bother you to a point when you're going to use your powerful platform to speak out against it, it's hypocritical to do it in one area and not do it in another area.
The one thing, though,
You're
is
right.
when Daryl
100%.
Morey tweeted support for Hong Kong, I don't think, other than LeBron and a few others, like the media or fans in general, were criticizing Morey. I think they were all saying, you're damn right he has a right to say it. And the league really, at the end of the day, didn't punish him. He didn't lose his job because of it.
He was left to hang out to dry a bit. It wasn't like they were supportive of him. And
But
the league has
eventually
lost.
the commissioner did stand with him.
Yeah, now don't forget, the
You know
league
what I mean?
lost billions of dollars by losing that business. And look.
And they got it back now, by the way. I think those games
are
are on TV again.
To me, this is not just a LeBron issue. We know where sneakers are made, right? When Michael Jordan had the Air Jordans out there, we knew where the sneakers got made.
Right.
Right? And they still get made in the same sweatshops by the same people who are taken advantage of and marginalized to make sneakers that we buy and sell for hundreds of dollars. Right? So, yes, it is a fair criticism of a guy to say that he cares about human rights, but not if it's the humans that make the sneakers that put millions of dollars in his bank account. That is a fair criticism of hypocrisy. It is. It is for all the guys that want to come out, black or white, who want to talk about human suffering, but have no problem when their sneakers or cleats or shirts or whatever are made in sweatshops.
Well, you know what it also
and you know why
what
it's
else
easy?
is?
Because it's not an American
Well,
sweatshop.
that is it. Let's be honest about something. All of us individually, okay? This may seem cruel, but I think it's the reality. A lot of us care a heck of a lot more about what's happening here than anywhere overseas.
I think we should, too, by the way.
Right. I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong. There are a lot of bad stuff going on around the world. Stuff that we can't even imagine. And we can't get involved in everything.
Like, what do you think the markup is on a basketball sneaker?
Oh, my God.
It's like if I said to you, let's build a factory and pick an impoverished neighborhood anywhere in this country.
What's the markup?
Right? Let's pick, and you're going to pay everyone in their minimum wage, not a penny more. Mm-hmm. But you're going to pay them minimum wage, and you're going to build a sneaker factory somewhere in, Detroit, East St. Louis, Newark, New Jersey, Camden, parts of the 5 boroughs, to try to bring jobs into impoverished neighborhoods, give guys a chance to get out of bad situations, and you make a little bit less, right? Maybe, who knows?
A little bit less?
I don't know. A lot less?
You think it would be a little bit less?
I don't know.
No, I think it would be a lot less.
Still going to make money on it.
There's a reason why. Wait a second, no.
That $200 sneaker costs like $1 to make.
Correct. I'm not arguing with you. I just want you to realize that there's a reason why so much stuff is made over there. Why is that?
Cheap labor.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right, but
in
that's
a lot of
why.
ways, it's slave labor.
Of course, it's awful.
Yeah.
I'm not defending it. I'm just reminding you the reality.
Here's
of
what
it.
we're all going to do. We're all going to take a deep breath.
It's Carton and Roberts on the Fan, WFAN, WFAN-FM, and WFAN.com.
Knicks, 8 in a row. Nets, kind of a meaningless loss to Toronto.
Well, you
think it's meaningful?
I want the 1 seed, bro.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's me.
That's a bigger deal to you than me, but I get it.
I think it's a bigger deal to me than you. I think it's a bigger deal to me than the Nets. I mean, I admit
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Boy,
I didn't watch any of that game, obviously, last night.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Bruce Brown continues to play great.
And no update on the two guys, or what?
KD may play tomorrow.
Oh, for real?
KD may be back tomorrow or Sunday. Harden, I can't even think about.
You don't need all three anyway.
Do you really think that, though?
I think they're good enough to win a title with 2 of the 3. The way Harden played, though, you're talking about a guy who's an MVP candidate.
I want to ask you.
How could you not want him?
I'm going to ask you an interesting question real quick. The Nets have played 31 games with 2 of the 3 players.
What's their record?
Doesn't matter the combo. 2 of the 3 stars have played. They've played 31 games. What is their record?
I'm going to take a guess, 22-9.
That's really good. You're wrong, but very close.
What is it?
23-8.
All right, so right there.
So, I mean, to your point, yes, they've won a lot of games.
Because they're so damn good.
But the weakest combo of the 2 of 3 record-wise is KD and Kyrie.
And I'm going to say something that I don't want to hear back. But I'm going to say it because it's true and it's real. You know my favorite player to watch in the NBA is today?
Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
I understand.
It is.
He is a joy to watch.
That dude is just one of the best guys with the ball in his hands I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's one of the best ball handlers you'll ever see.
Yeah. And listen, it's great watching Steph, drop 10 threes in a game. Dudes in his face. Of course, Randall. Randall's still more of a lunch pail superstar. There's nothing like, oh my God, about his game. But there are times Kyrie's got to move, which some guys can pull it off, not a lot. Steph does it every now and then, where it's between the legs, right hand to left, the left spin, then a spin back, elevate for a 15-footer that is just unbelievably amazing.
You know what's crazy? I've gotten to watch Durant, Harden, and Kyrie for a little bit of time over the last year. You know which of the 3 guys I love watching the most? And it's not even that close.
Whom?
James Harden. And I miss him. I admit it.
Wow. I miss him.
Well, I do. I want him on the floor.
Why don't you write him a Hallmark card?
I'd give him a massage. I'll tell you, the night before the playoffs, you're damn right I'll give him a massage. I need him back. I need him back.
Damon's in Connecticut. Damon, what do you got, kid?
Guys, thanks for having me on. You make my day every day. Hope you're both doing well.
Great.
Thank you.
Awesome. 8 in a row, 4th place. Evan, I'm sorry, but F the Nets, baby. Let's go.
That might be my new thing. New T-shirt. F the Nets.
Bring it.
I like it.
Yeah.
That might
Bring
be the
it
new
on.
shirt. Net fans dancing in the streets. F the Nets.
Proves my point. That's how I know the rivalry's arrived. You care.
Hasn't arrived yet.
You care.
Hasn't arrived for either franchise yet.
Care about for the Knicks because it had to go this way. Hear me out on this. If the Knicks got the stars, okay, and they were the ones with championship expectations, and the Nets were the little engine that could, like they were a few years ago, irrelevant rivalry. Irrelevant.
That's right.
8 in a row doesn't matter. Irrelevant. It needed to be this way. The Nets needed to be the championship contender, and the Knicks with the much bigger fan base and more passionate fan base. See, I admit things. It needs to go this way because on everyone's mind, you're enjoying the 8-game winning streak, but you know what you're thinking about. It's okay. Be honest.
They were thinking about beating you in the playoffs.
You're thinking about us.
No.
You're
I want to be
thinking
clear.
about
We are
us.
not thinking about you at all.
Yes, you are.
We're thinking about how great it would be specifically to beat you in the playoffs.
And why is that?
Because
they play in this town, in this city.
Because
you want it.
As
you
much as we
man.
would have liked it, we want to have the ability to get on our soapbox and go, trying to buy a championship? The little engine that could's going to knock you off.
Bring it.
The Harlem Globetrotters in Brooklyn.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a secret real quick.
I don't like secrets.
The little
Don't tell
engine
me
that
any
could.
secrets.
I've been there.
I don't wanna hear it.
It's fun. It's enjoyable. And you know how it ends for the little engine that could?
Yeah, we get up that hill.
It can't. And it gets derailed. And you lose because you're not as good. I know it. I've experienced it. And guess what?
I think I can.
You're going to experience it too.
I think I can.
And just know, I know how you feel.
I think I can. We here.
And then the wheels pop off.
Hey,
and
New York.
everything falls apart.
Just like Julia said last night, yo, New York. We here. We are here.
Enjoy it. While you're here, enjoy it.
That's right. Here's Kevin in the Bronx. Kevin knows what's good. Kevin, how are you?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
We here.
Hell, mother effing yeah!
Yeah! Yeah!
Let's go!
Yeah.
It's been so long. I feel like I'm a kid again in the '90s. That's how every day I'm like, oh man, the Knicks are playing. They're not playing today. It's just crazy how.
That is a good point, actually. There's now with 13 games to go in the regular season, we now have an expectation on game night. Now, for me, and of course I was away for a bit, but for me, I don't remember having a real legitimate game day expectation maybe since, the Jeremy Lin run. Right around there.
No, stop. Don't say that. Don't say that stupid comment.
Yeah.
It's 2013. It's not the Jeremy Lin run. 2013, you won 54 games.
Yes.
Just correct yourself and move on, or else you're going to really tick me off.
Go, New York, go.
Only fraud Knick fans make that comment.
We here.
Okay? You're better than that because you're not a fraud Knick fan. I'm complimenting you.
Yes.
It's the 54-win season of 2013.
That's what I said.
If you bring it back to Jeremy Lin, you're a fraud. You're not. You made a mistake. So don't do that.
Expectation. You know what I'm waiting for? Friday night, red carpet at the Garden. Have all the celebrities come out. Oh, look who's walking in. Dustin Hoffman. I got Tracy Morgan. I got Evan Robertson, Craig Carton. Wait a minute. It looks like they're not letting Evan Robertson in.
That's all right. Good. I don't want to go. Will you go with me to Game 1, Knicks Celtics, first round of the postseason?
Knicks Celtics?
I'll be there with you as long as the Nets don't play. I'll be there.
No, I'm not bringing you
4
to the
5
Garden.
matchup. You guys got the 4. Boston's got the 5.
No.
Me and you.
I'll go.
Madison Square Garden.
No.
Knicks Celtics. I'm there, man.
No.
Can't promise
You're
you
not
what I'm rooting for.
You're not there.
Why?
Because you have to know the boundaries, Evan.
Yeah.
There are some boundaries for fans. And I think we all love the fact that you are a huge sports nut and you like sports and you go to games even if it's not your team.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that about you.
Uh-huh.
You are beloved in that regard.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now.
Yep.
I'm just warning you. Do not do that.
You see this, the wallet?
Don't do it.
I have a credit card in this wallet.
Yeah,
I don't
you do.
expect any freebies from the New York Knicks. I'm going to give Dolan my money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to walk into Madison Square Garden just to see the look on your faces when you realize this ain't the regular season anymore.
Yeah, but that puts me in a bad spot.
Why is that?
Yo, Carton, your boy's here. What's going on? Then I got to protect you, look out for you. I don't want that responsibility.
Even if I'm buying the tickets and bringing you there?
The Garden will give me tickets. I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
All right. I'll take care of you with Cabeza and his crew in the Bronx. I got that.
Thank you.
I will protect you with all that. But I ain't walking you into the Garden. I won't do it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
How about if it's Knicks Nets first round? Game 3 at Madison Square Garden?
Definitely not.
What up?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not welcome in the building.
I don't know if I want to go either.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could take the heat, the pressure. I'd be hiding under the chair 5 minutes into the game. That will be brutal if they play.
Now, listen,
I want it, but it will scare me.
You and I have had this conversation, and Evan has been very honest.
Yeah.
And this happened before the Knicks, frankly, got this good.
Yeah.
I remember a couple months ago when the Knicks were right around 500, but in like the 7th or 8th spot, whatever it was. And Evan and I had an off-the-air conversation. And I'm going to share it because I feel like the audience, if they don't know about it, I think we've referenced it.
You can share it.
I'm going to share it.
I give you permission.
Evan said one of his biggest nightmares is the possibility of the Knicks and Nets facing off against each other in the playoffs and the Knicks winning a single game in that playoff series because he knows what the 48-hour period would be like between the final whistle and tip-off of the next game. And his life would be a miserable hell.
Yes.
And that's what we're looking for.
But, Craig, here's what's changed. The expectations in your mind are not to scare us or win a game. It's to beat us. You guys were dancing in the streets of the Garden last night. You expect to beat us.
You're damn right we do.
Okay.
We're going out there. We're winning a playoff series this year.
Okay.
The way we currently feel about our squad.
5-16,
We're squad deep.
April 22nd. I'm going to mark this one down.
And as I like to say.
I'm sorry, can you say that into the microphone again? What did you say?
We are squad deep.
No, what are you doing? You're going to win a round, you said?
And I like to say this. We here. That's what I like to say.
Sometimes a single click on the internet can change your life forever. I'm Elle Fanning, and welcome to One Click, a documentary podcast series that investigates a lethal diet drug that has managed to reappear time and again with a trail of death behind it. Listen and follow One Click, a presentation of C13 Originals, a Cadence 13 studio, in association with Vespucci and Llewellyn Pictures. Available now on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.